Hey y'all, it's Beth with Chickapig Acres. I'm so glad you found this video today. I want to talk to you for just a minute, hopefully a quick minute, about something that I have struggled with through the years. And I know that other people struggle with it as well. And I would like us to be encouragement to one another. I would like us to be accountable to one another if you're willing. I would like to talk about priorities today. I totally had my priorities messed up for a long time. I had to learn to say no to all the things that I naturally said yes to. I have a difficult time saying no to people. I want to please people. I want to do all the things for all the people. I like being involved in things. I enjoy helping others. But what I forgot is that I was helping everybody else. And I was not helping my family. I was leaving my husband and children to help others. I was involved in really important things, and I was being a blessing to other people, but my kids and husband were being forgotten at home. So I would like to chat with you about how to get your priorities straight. I kind of joke with some people now that I would like to have a seminar on how to say no. And I can. And I can be quite firm in that seminar with others. But when it comes down to it, it is difficult to say no. You want to please others. We are naturally built for community with others. There's nothing wrong with that. We were made that way, and that's okay. What's not okay is leaving the community that lives inside of our own house to go take care of another community. I forgot that my first job was at home. I needed to be at home with my people first. I needed to learn to say no to everybody else so that I could better gauge where my threshold was for being away from my family, where their threshold was for being away from mama. See, I had to say no to everything for almost a year. It got to a really ugly point, in fact, where my husband said, if you can't say no, say nothing, and I will say no for you. And so we did. We took a whole year, and I said no to every single thing that somebody wanted me to do. It was a very difficult year. I enjoy being with other people. I enjoy being a blessing to other people. I enjoy learning what other people have to teach me. However, I was so tired, exhausted, and spent from all of my time with other people that when I got home, I was not kind to my husband or my children. So for a year, I said no to everything. And it was freedom. Absolute freedom. I did not have any obligations outside of my children and husband. I had no obligations outside of my home. I had no obligations to any strangers. I had no obligation to any dear friends. I was just me at home, wife and mom. And I could be a friend to my friends. I could be a daughter to my parents. I could be a granddaughter to my grandparents. And at the time, my grandparents needed a lot of extra help. And you know what? Instead of having to say no to family where my priorities needed to be, I could say yes. I could say absolutely, the children and I will be right there to help. And now, 12 years later, we live here. We're here helping all the time. We live in community with our family. We live generationally, kind of like the Amish do. A little bit weird, mind you, but we live here, and we help here, and we learn here, and we grow here. But if I had never learned to say no to all of the other people and things that were trying to take my attention away from home, I would have never learned the blessings and the peace that I had at home. My children would have not thrived. my husband would have been left alone and lonely at home. But because I chose to come back home and say no and reprioritize my life, I found peace. I found my place. I found belonging at home. I found my calling as a mother and as a wife. I found my calling as a gardener. Who would have thought? I found my calling as a farm mom. We grow the animals here, we raise them up, they have babies here, and it's wonderful, and I love it. But I never would have found that life if I hadn't been able to say no to all of the other things pulling at me. So this is my encouragement to you. Take a look inside. Are you feeling overwhelmed? I feel like I sound like one of those commercials. Are you feeling overwhelmed, depressed? But seriously, are you? Are you being told you're doing too much? Is your family suffering because you're never there? Are you not paying heed to the calling for you to come back home? Do you need to put more time into your marriage? Do you need to put more time into your children? Do you have one child that's specifically struggling? Do you not remember why you married your husband? I suggest you reprioritize. You need to come back home. If you're too busy to spend time with your family when they need it, then you need to reprioritize. You need to drop some stuff. Let's say no to what we have to so that we can say yes to what we want to. I know that that's a hard thing. I know that learning to say no to all of the wonderful things that we do is difficult. But I also know the blessings that are waiting for us, the peace that is waiting for us when we choose to say no to all of the extra things so that we can say yes to the things that we need to say yes to. So we can say yes to our child that needs us. So we can say yes to our husband that needs us. So we can say yes to our grandparents or our mothers or our fathers or our friends who need us most. So I encourage you, practice saying no. Maybe you're involved in too many things and you need to step out. You don't have to finish everything. It's okay if you need to step out of something in the middle of it. Apologize. Try to explain the best you can. But most people understand being overwhelmed and too busy. And most people will respect your choice to step back and reevaluate. I've again found myself stepping out of everything this last year. I wanted to be involved in more things. I was finally feeling good after I had a pretty rough birth with our last daughter. I felt like I could actually do things, and so I got involved in all the things because the children had missed out on doing all the things. And you know what? It just wasn't the right thing for our family. And halfway through, I had to step out. I had to say, I'm sorry, I cannot do this anymore because I need to focus on my children. I need to focus on my husband. I need to focus on my home and my farm and my business. And we have been blessed because we chose to do so. When you choose what God is leading you to, He will bless you. When you say no to the things that are taking time away from you and your family, when you say no to the things that are stressing you out more than they are blessing you and others, you're going to find peace in that. I remember I had to say no about 10 years ago to some really hard things that were great for my children, but really bad for me. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. We came home, we stayed home, we did school at home, and it was wonderful. Difficult? Yes, but wonderful. Because then my children had a mother who was at peace, who was calm, who was in control of her emotions, instead of feeling frazzled and strung out. So, what do you need to say no to today? What are some things you've accidentally gotten yourself into that you need to step back from? Do you need some accountability? Do you need somebody to ask you, are you sure this is something you need to be doing? I understand that. I had to have that. I was blessed enough to have a husband who was willing to do that for and with me. Find a friend that is willing to ask the hard questions. Tell me down below in the comments, maybe, what you need to step back from. I pray that you will find the same blessing and the same peace by saying no to the things you should say no to, so you can say yes to the things that you want to say yes to. My blessings to you. See you next time.